like to call to order this meeting of the Forest Grove City Council at 7 o'clock on June 10th. Will our city recorder please call roll?
Council President Rippey,
Absent, excused.
Councilor Gustafson,
Here.
Councilor Martinez,
Here.
Councilor Marshall,
Here.
Councilor Valenzuela,
Here.
Councilor Ewing,
Absent, excused.
Mayor Wenzel.
Here. Forest Grove City Council meetings are located on the land of the Tualatin Kalapuas, who call themselves the Atfalati. They are now part of the Confederate Tribes of Grand Ronde. Will the audience and council please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Audience members, council, folks watching on TV and Zoom. Over the last 2 years of being mayor, I've had the great opportunity of meeting lots of different individuals who pair their interests with service. Earlier this year, the Tualatin Valley Harmony Masters reached out to me and said, hey, come and listen to us practice. And I did, and I had the best time. They do little Valentine singing, I don't know the exact words, but like they do like, what is it when you travel around like door to door? Singing Valentine's, thank you. Thank you. See, they fill in for the mayor when she doesn't know how to speak. They are celebrating their 50th anniversary and performed at Pacific University on June 1st. So I would like to invite them to come up in front of the dais and share their tunes with us. To come up this way and then face this so that way you're on TV. Please and thank you. Thank you guys so much for
So
coming.
good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Have a nice night. You guys are the best. Thanks. I'm going to head down for proclamations. Spot the readers, because proclamations, is this on? No. No, I can't see you when I look at you, though. The problem with the readers is you can't see far away. Testing, testing. I think we're good. Okay. Put the readers back on. June 19th, 2024. Whereas President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation on January 1st, 1863, declaring enslaved people forever free, paving the way for the passing of the 13th Amendment, which formally abolished slavery in the United States. And whereas on June 19th, 1865, Union troops marched through Galveston, reading to the people of Galveston that all slaves were free. And the formerly enslaved citizens in Galveston rejoiced in the streets with jubilant celebrations. And whereas June 19th, Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day, is a day to celebrate the end of slavery and the advancement of equality and justice in the United States. And whereas Juneteenth celebrates African American freedom and achievement while encouraging continuous self-development and respect for all cultures. And whereas in 2021, Juneteenth was made a federal holiday. House Bill 2168 was signed by Governor Kate Brown in Oregon for Juneteenth to become a state holiday the following year in 2022. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Forest Grove does hereby proclaim June 19th, 2024 as Juneteenth in Forest Grove, Oregon, Washington County, and urge all citizens to become more aware of the significance of the celebration in African American history and in the heritage of our nation. It is our responsibility to ensure racial justice, equity, equality in Forest Grove and around the world. Okay, our next proclamation is for Pride Month, June 2024. Whereas lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ Pride Month is currently celebrated each year in the month of June to honor the 1969 Stonewall Uprising in Manhattan. And whereas the City Council's goals are for Forest Grove to be an inclusive community that promotes equity, diversity, and access and creating a meaningful quality of life for everyone. And whereas we recognize, support, and appreciate the invaluable contributions of members of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, intersex, asexual, and two-spirit LGBTQIA2S+ community. And whereas we remain steadfast in the dedication to eliminate the prejudice and discrimination faced by members of the LGBTQIA2S+ community. Whereas we believe the rich diversity of communities in Forest Grove is one of our greatest strengths. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Forest Grove does hereby proclaim June 2024 as Pride Month in Forest Grove, Oregon, Washington County, and urge citizens, businesses, organizations, and agencies to respect and honor our diverse community, celebrate a culture of inclusivity and acceptance. Thank you very much. Item B on our agenda is public comment. Time provided for anyone wishing to speak to City Council on an item not on the agenda or on the agenda but not scheduled for a public hearing. Comments are limited to 2 minutes unless additional time is granted by the presiding officer. The public comment period shall not exceed 30 minutes unless a majority of councilors present vote to extend the time. Zoom attendees may use the raise hand option to be called on. Are there any people in the audience for public comments? Seeing none, any on Zoom for public comment wishing to use the raise hand feature? The council did receive written public comment and it's included in the packet. Okay, what is the wish? Oh, wait, nope, kind of got ahead of myself. Consent, item C, consent agenda. Items under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be adopted with a single motion without separate discussion. Councilors who wish to remove an item from the consent agenda may do so prior to the motion. Any item or items removed will be discussed and acted upon following the approval of the remaining items. What is the wish of the City Council?
I move that we accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Thank
Somebody second.
Yep. The consent agenda was moved by Councilor Martinez and seconded by Councilor Marshall. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, please say aye. Hearing none, the consent agenda is approved by the Forest Grove City Council in a vote of 5-0. Moving on to item D on our agenda is additions or deletions. City Manager, do you have any additions or deletions?
No additions or deletions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Any proposed by council? Seeing none. There are no presentations this evening, so we are going to move on to item F, which is public hearings, ordinances, and resolution. Coming up to the, the hot seat is our Assistant City Manager and Finance Director, Mr. Paul Downey, and it's resolution number 2024-17, 2024-18, and 2024-19.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilors. This staff report will cover all three of the resolutions. The first resolution is to adopt the fiscal year 24-25 budget.
Wait a minute. Do I need to open the public hearing?
Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay.
Staff report.
Okay.
Then to second resolution is to levy and categorize taxes for fiscal year 24-25, and the third resolution is to make appropriations for fiscal year 24-25. The Budget Committee approved the budget on May 7th in the amount of $160,325,198. Staff is proposing one change to the budget of adding $350,000 in the non-departmental section of the general fund for a summer recreational program that the Parks and Recreation Department will be contracting with from the Forest Grove School District, who is receiving the funds from the state of Oregon for summer opportunities for district students. The city will incur expenses for intermittent labor, supplies, contract services, and food and beverage expenses. There are no city funds budgeted for this activity. We budgeted these funds in this department as we did not want to mix these funds with the city's regular recreation budgeted dollars. The other thing we wanted to make the council aware of is over the next few months, you may be seeing some amendments in the Light and Power Fund budget, as we may be having to do some improvements to the Forest Grove and Filbert substations and some line extensions for proposed investments resulting from industrial development. They could be significant, and there will be no taxpayer funds used for these, but the improvements may be upwards of $12 million. So that's all the staff has. So I will take any questions council may have.
I'm going to open the public hearing on resolution 2024-17, 2024-18, and 2024-19. If approved by the City Council, these resolutions will adopt the budget, levy taxes, and make appropriations for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Do any councilors have a conflict of interest to declare?
No.
Okay, we just received the staff report. Does the council have any questions for staff? Any questions about the budget? Okay, public hearing. I will now call on persons who signed up to comment on the resolutions. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Are there any proponents who would like to testify? Any on Zoom? I don't see any. Okay, any opponents? And any other comments? There was no testimony, so I'm assuming staff would not like to respond to any testimony. I'm going to now close. The hearing is now, the hearing is now closed. Now gavel. Is there a motion from council to approve the resolutions?
I move to approve resolution 2024-17, 2024-18, and 2024-19.
I second.
Thank you. Resolutions 2024-17, 2024-18, 2024-19 was moved by Councilor Gustafson and seconded by Councilor Martinez. Are there any additional discussion or questions from council? I just have one comment to say. I brought this up at the last 2 years at budget meetings. And I think, when we're looking at our operating budget, we are, there's conflicting things, right? We're meeting the needs of having green spaces and parks within a certain distance of every neighborhood, but we have not addressed the operational, the maintenance part of it. The maintenance in parks, I'm going to bring it up again here. I want it on the public record, but we really, really, really need to, and I know we're doing the Parks and Rec fee assessment, the fee study, but we really need to come up with our policy, our metrics. We have other policies and metrics which keep us within a certain percentage of the median salaries, the different things. There's work the council can do to make sure, when I went to Rogers Park for the barbecue, like it did not look like it had been maintained. And we had the garden walk going on, and then the barbecue with the blue. So I just want to put that's just my discussion, as I really think that needs some work in that area. That's my only discussion. Any other discussion or points? Okay, will the city manager please read the resolution by title only?
Resolution number 2024-17, adopting budget for fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025. Resolution number 2020. Did you want to vote on each one separately and then I'll read the next one? Or do you want me to go ahead and just read all 3? I'll just read
What
all
does
3.
staff recommend?
I'll just read all 3 and then, yeah. Resolution number 2024-18, levying and categorizing taxes for the city of Forest Grove, Washington County, Oregon, for fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025. And last, resolution number 2024-19, making appropriations for the city of Forest Grove, Washington County, Oregon, for fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th, 2025.
Thank you. And will the city recorder do a roll call vote for each resolution, please? Okay, great. Thanks.
Counselor Gustafson?
Yes.
Counselor Martinez?
Yes.
Counselor Marshall?
Yes.
Counselor Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel?
Yes. Resolution 2024-17 was approved by the Forest Grove City Council in a 5-0 vote.
Council President Gustafson?
Yes.
Counselor Martinez?
Yes.
Counselor Marshall?
Yes.
Counselor Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel?
Yes, the vote is 5-0. Resolution 2024-18 is approved.
Counselor Gustafson?
Yes.
Counselor Martinez?
Yes.
Counselor Marshall?
Yes.
Counselor Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel?
Yes. Resolution 2024-19 has been approved by the Forest Grove City Council in a vote of 5-0. Thank you. We're going to now move on to public hearing for resolution 2024 wait, hang on.
No.
I will now open the public hearing on resolutions 2024-20 and 2024-21. If approved by the City Council, these resolutions will certify the services the city will provide and declare the city election to receive state revenues. Do any councilors have a conflict of interest to declare? Seeing none. Staff, can we have the report, please?
Yes, the city needs to also, as you said, is certify services and also like to participate. Before we can do that, we have to hold 2 public hearings. One was held at the Budget Committee on April 29th, and the second will occur tonight when, as with this public hearing you're holding right now. Fiscal year 24-25, city's projected to receive $585,183 in alcohol tax revenue, $19,561 in cigarette tax revenue, $45,500 in state marijuana tax revenue, $186,221 in state revenue sharing, and about $2.2 million in state gasoline tax revenue. And for budgetary purposes, we put these in various departments within the general fund, except for the gas tax, which, as by state law, is budgeted 99% to the street fund and 1% to the bike and pedway fund, bike path fund. And so if the city decides not to accept these shared revenues, you'll have about over $1 million hole in the general fund you'll have to make up either through cuts or using reserves, and in the street fund, we would have to maintain heavily curtailed road maintenance. So I'll take any questions council may have.
Any questions for staff? Seeing none, I will now call on persons who signed up to comment on the resolutions. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Are there anyone who would like to speak who's a proponent? Okay, anyone who would like to speak who's an opponent? And are there any additional comments? Okay. The hearing is now closed. Is there a motion from council to approve the resolutions?
I move to approve resolution number 2024-20 and 2024-21.
I second.
Okay. Resolutions number 2024-20 and 2024-21 was moved by Councilor Gustafson and seconded by Councilor Martinez. Will the city, is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, will the city manager please read the resolutions by title only?
Resolution number 2024-20, certifying services provided by the City of Forest Grove, and Resolution 2024-21, declaring city's election to receive state revenues.
Thank you. And will the city recorder please call roll?
Counselor Gustafson,
Yes.
Counselor Martinez,
Yes.
Counselor Marshall,
Yes.
Counselor Valenzuela,
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel.
Yes, Resolution 2024-20 is approved by the Forest Grove City Council in a vote of 5-0. I want to do both. We do both.
Did you want them separate?
Mhm.
Okay. Counselor Gustafson,
Yes.
Counselor Martinez,
Yes.
Counselor Marshall,
Yes.
Counselor Valenzuela,
Yes.
and Mayor Wenzel.
Did you say yes? Yes. Resolution 2024-21 is approved by the Forest Grove City Council in a vote of 5-0. Okay, moving on to resolution number 2024-22, adopting fiscal year 2024-29 capital improvements program. I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Downey.
Thank you. This is to adopt the capital improvement program for fiscal year 2024 through 2029. Capital improvement plan forms the basis of the capital projects the city is planning to accomplish over the next 5 years. Projects funded by SDC funds need to be listed in the capital improvement in order for SDC funds to be expended on those projects. CIP was presented to and approved by the Budget Committee, and staff's not approving any changes to the plan as it was approved by the Budget Committee. And the projects that are budgeted in the fiscal year 24-25 budget are reflected in the appropriate column of the capital improvement plan. So take any questions the council may have.
Any questions for staff? Okay, what is the wish of the city, of the council?
Move that we pass 2024-22. That's the one we were on, right?
Second.
Thank you. Resolution number 2024-22 was moved by Councilor Martinez and seconded by Councilor Gustafson. And now we will have discussion from the council. You know, I'm just going to say things intermittently, but the way, this is my 10th budget, I want to say, and I just think you do a really good job. Our capital improvement plan, our long-term planning, we're flexible, but I just think our budgets are always done really well. And I just want to say thank you to Paul and Melissa and Jesse and the whole staff, because it really is a team effort. I mean, there's a heavy load from our finance department, but when you meet with people regionally who might not have a capital improvement program, you realize how important they are. Okay, then, will the city manager please read the resolution by title only?
Resolution number 2024-22, adopting fiscal year 2024-29 capital improvements program.
Thank you. And will the city recorder please call for the vote?
Counselor Gustafson,
Yes.
Counselor Martinez,
Yes.
Counselor Marshall,
Yes.
Counselor Valenzuela,
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel.
Yes, resolution number 2024-22, adopting fiscal year 2024 through 29 capital improvements program has been approved by the Forest Grove City Council in a vote of 5-0. Okay, and now we're moving on to resolution number 202, I will now open the public hearing on resolution 2024-23. If approved by the City Council, the resolution will adopt the capital improvements program excise tax for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Do any councilors have a conflict of interest to declare? Seeing none, the staff have a report.
Yes. This is for the CIP excise tax renewal for the fiscal year 24-25. The CIP excise tax was initiated by ordinance in 1990. It restricts the use of the revenue generated by the CIP excise tax to the government, general government, and public safety programs within the CIP. The code requires the tax to be renewed on an annual basis by the Budget Committee and approved by the City Council each year. If the tax is not reauthorized, the city cannot collect the revenue, and also we cannot exceed 5% increase in any 1 year or cumulatively 15%, 20% over a 5-year period. This tax is not covered by the annual fee adjustment for general fees. We started collecting the fee in 2004, and we last increased their rate, on 2014. We expect to collect about $400,000 in revenue next year. Of that, about $358,430 will be used to purchase of police vehicles and fire apparatus. Other proposed expenditures include purchase of AEDs for city facilities, controllers for the city's HVAC system, equipment for the aquatic center, and police vehicle radio upgrades. The CIP excise tax is accounted for in a separate fund to ensure the proceeds are spent as required. And if we don't renew this tax, then we're going to need to figure out how to a different funding source for police vehicles and fire apparatus. I will take any questions the council may have.
Any questions from council? Okay, seeing none, I will now call on persons who signed up to comment on the resolution. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Are there any proponents who would like to share public comment? Seeing none on Zoom either. Are there any opponents? Seeing none on Zoom either. Are there any additional or other comments? Seeing none. The hearing is now closed. Is there a motion from council to approve the resolution?
I move to approve resolution number 2024-23.
I second.
Thank you. Resolution number 2024-23 was moved by Councilor Gustafson and seconded by Councilor Martinez. Will the city manager read it by title only?
Resolution number 2024-23, adopting capital improvements program excise tax and repealing resolution number 2023-27.
I need to apologize. I didn't give space for discussion after the motion, so I'm apologizing. Is there any discussion on the resolution? Okay, and then the title, it was just read by title only. So will the city recorder please call roll?
Counselor Gustafson,
Yes.
Counselor Martinez,
Yes.
Counselor Marshall,
Yes.
Counselor Valenzuela,
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel.
Yes, resolution number 2024-23 was approved by the Forest Grove City Council in a vote of 5-0. Okay, moving on to resolution number 2024-24, setting fees and charges effective July 1st, 2024, and repealing resolution 2023-16. Oh, wait, I gotta open the public hearing. Hang on. I got too many papers. Okay. I will now open the public hearing on resolution 2024-24. If approved by the City Council, this resolution will set fees and charges for the 2024-2025 fiscal year. Do any councilors have a conflict of interest? Seeing none. Does staff have a report?
Yes, by city code, they talked about adjusting the fees for for general services by the amount of the consumer price index or the percentage of the wage adjustment for city employees. We prepared a resolution for council consideration with a 4% increase, which was the average overall increase being proposed for employees this year. And also it talks about a cost of service study. We are about to start that cost of service study. We're going to be issuing an RFP later this month. So probably next year at this time, the results will probably be basing fee changes based on the new fee, on the completed fee study at that point in time. So again, we prepared a 4% increase. Some fees have been rounded to eliminate change issues for some departments. Some fees have not been changed as they're set by the state, i.e. liquor licenses or other agencies such as WCCLS. Water meters over an inch are charged at actual cost, so no specific fee is set because those connections can take different lengths of time according to the site conditions. And the emergency cost recovery fee and charges for the fire department are not proposed to be increased at this point at this time. Some changes to fees are proposed. The engineering public improvements record and inspection fees are proposed to be modified so that public improvement records review fees cover 2 plan reviews for a project. So that would include the initial plan review and the review of the changes submitted by the developer based on the comments from our engineering department of the first review. Subsequent reviews will be charged on an hourly basis. Site reinspection fees will be added and charged on an hourly basis. This fee structure is similar to to fees for other surrounding agencies, and it's designed to keep the engineering department from becoming part of the developer's design review process. We want the developer to propose the designs according to the code, not have the engineering department guide them through specifically what changes need to be made. We're also proposing 4% increases for all the parks and recreation fees, including the field rental fees until the parks fee study is completed. Proposed fee schedule continues the moratorium on collecting field rental fees. Any fee changes that result from the parks and recreation fee study will be included on an amended fee schedule that will be presented to the council for adoption later this year. The police fees we're adding the secondhand dealer licenses being added back to the fee schedule. For the city code, this is a separate process from the business licenses, and the police department processes the secondhand dealer's licenses. There used to be a fee, but for some reason it was removed, but we need to add it back on. And again, the fee for the park study is nearing completion and hopefully will be the subject of an upcoming work session with the council. And again, the fee study for all other fees, an RFP will be issued later this month for that fee study. So proposed fees, fiscal impact, proposed fee increases should increase overall fees to the city. However, the projected revenue increase is highly dependent on the volume of transactions we get. So take any questions council may have.
I have a follow-up question. Can you a little slower, like, is it just the field fees that we're not charging right now, but the pavilion fees we are, like, what for?
We
Parks and
increased
Rec,
all
what-
fees by 4%, including all parks and recreation fees. Right now, there's a moratorium on field rental fees, but we went ahead and increased those fees by 4%, even though there's a moratorium on charging them. That way, we were consistent with the fee increases. Even though we're not charging them, we're proposing increasing those fees by 4% like all the other fees.
I'm going to rephrase it so I make sure I understand. We're sticking with our moratorium on field use fees, but in order to be consistent with what we're doing, we're raising it by 4.
We're raising them, yes.
Okay. And what is our and then staff will bring us, once the rate and fees study's done, and we have some direction or some decision to be made, and the council makes a decision, will we be brought back something for fees?
For the parks and recreation fees, there'll be a work session because we're going to need to get council direction on the philosophy of charging the fees. Like for what fees do you want to subsidize to what percentage of any? And then the consultant and staff will come back with proposed fees based on the direction that gets from the council at that work session.
And is this also, I'm asking way too many questions, but is this also layered in with our consultant work with recreation, with Pacific, Forest Grove School District, and the city? I just feel like there's a nexus that we need to, I mean, they don't have to be, but they overlap a little bit. So,
They do overlap. One of the things that we have pointed out for that forthcoming facilitator for those conversations is this study.
okay, good.
So it will be one of the topics that'll be discussed within that focus group, if you will.
Cool. Thanks.
How long has that moratorium been going on for?
We put it into effect last July.
Last July?
Yes.
So we were charging, prior to that, we were charging field use.
Well, I think, I don't want to put
Hit and
words in
miss would
Director
be the
Lane's
best
mouth, but I
answer.
think it was inconsistent. And so I think when the council looked at kind of everything, they said, let's just pause on that fee for right now until we get this fee study done, and then we can look at this in a more kind of contextual and comprehensive way. And that moratorium remains in place today. So.
Any further questions for staff? Seeing none, I will now call on persons who signed up to comment on the resolution. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record. Are there any proponents? Seeing none on Zoom or in the audience, are there any opponents? Seeing none. Any other comments? Okay. The hearing is now closed. Is there a motion from council to approve the resolution?
I move 2024-24. We pass the resolution.
Second.
Thank you. Councilor Martinez moved resolution 2024 or 2024-24, and it was seconded by Councilor Gustafson. Is there any discussion from the council? Yeah, I think that just one comment I want to make is the fees for recreation. When I'm out, when I'm at the farmer's market or out and about, that's something that gets brought up a lot. So I just think that it's really important that we have a clear, consistent message. We're in the middle of the Parks and Rec fee study. We're doing work. We're going to have a recommendation. And my understanding, and I think that Director Lane's done a really good job too, is that she is also in contact with the chairs of these leagues, the president, like making sure there's information out. So that's what we can speak to, is just like, hey, we're in this process right now. And so this is what's going on as of right now. So I just think it's really important that we're consistent. Is that correct information, Jesse?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so no further questions or discussions. Will the city manager please read the resolution by title only?
Resolution number 2024-24, setting fees and charges effective July 1st, 2024, and repealing resolution number 2023-16.
Will the city recorder please call roll?
Counselor Gustafson?
Yes.
Counselor Martinez?
Yes.
Counselor Marshall?
Yes.
Counselor Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel?
Yes, resolution number 2024-24 is approved by the Forest Grove City Council with a vote of 5-0. Now we are moving on to, let's make sure, oh no, it's not public hearing, okay. We are moving on to resolution number 2024-25, transferring appropriations within various funds for fiscal year 2023-24. We'll have Mr. Downey with our staff report.
When we adopt the budget, it's based on a plan and based upon best estimates at the time the budget's adopted. So during the year, when anticipated events may occur and when actual expenditures become known. So it's fairly typical at the end of this year to make changes and modify the appropriations to make sure that the budget does not exceed the legal expenditure limit. And so we are permitted to transfer resolutions within the fund so the budgeted appropriations are not exceeded. We are proposing six adjustments this time. And when you see them, we don't necessarily need all the dollars there, but I just normally add a little bit of dollars there so we can So we have a little bit of leeway. So when you see, for example, the library appropriations needs to be increased by $25,000, pay for changes in health insurance coverage as new employees took higher levels of insurance coverage in previous years. I might not need that whole 25,000, but I just wanted a little bit more of a buffer in there just in case something occurred during the month. Aquatic Center, second adjustment, Aquatic Center appropriations need to be increased by $50,000 due to intermittent employee wages being higher than anticipated, and again, changes in health insurance coverages for new employees who took higher levels of coverage than the previous employees. Intermediate employees are allocated between the Aquatic Center, Parks and Recreation, and the actual allocation of those employees in the Aquatic Center was different than the amount we had originally budgeted. Parks Department wages need to be increased by $30,000 due to employee wages being higher than originally budgeted and overtime incurred during the fiscal year. Fire Department appropriations need to be increased by $90,000 as actual wages are projected to be higher than the budgeted amount. Overtime from staff assigned to conflagration fires and other staff having to be called back in to cover the shifts of those firefighters assigned to the conflagration fires. All overtime incurred for conflagration fires is fully reimbursed by the state. Light and Power Fund, $865,000 transferred from contingency to pay for overtime pay for linemen who were assigned to mutual aid assistance during weather events, which was fully reimbursed by the utility to which they were sent to assist. And construction supplies purchased to install the electrical infrastructure for developments, which were paid for by the developer. And also in the Light and Power Fund, transfer $14,100 from contingency to debt service to account for the actual debt service interest paid versus the amount that was really budgeted. We just made an error on the original amount budgeted, so we're correcting that now. Those are the changes that staff is proposing, and we'll take any questions from the council.
Any questions for staff? Seeing none, is there a motion on the floor?
I move that we pass resolution 2024-25.
Second.
Thank you. Resolution number 2024-25 was moved by Councilor Martinez and seconded by Councilor Gustafson. Are there any discussion or questions from council? Again, I just want to say thanks to our amazing staff led by Paul and Melissa for all the work on the budget. Is a ton of work in a very busy time of year and with CEP and all that stuff too. So just a big thank you. Okay. And so will the city manager please read the resolution by title only?
Resolution number 2024-25, transferring appropriations within various funds for fiscal year 23-24.
And will the city recorder please call for the vote?
Counselor Gustafson?
Yes.
Counselor Martinez?
Yes.
Counselor Marshall? Counselor Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel?
Yes, resolution number 2024-25 was approved by the Forest Grove City Council with a vote of 5-0. Paul's officially out of the hot seats, and we're going to move on to economic development with Brian Pohl and Miles. Is it Glowacki? Okay, great. For resolution number 2024-26.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council, Brian Pohl, Community Development Director. And I'm just going to take a very high-level view of sort of what this is in front of you. If you want more detail, feel free to ask questions. But basically, the city has established, back in 2006, several areas for enterprise zones. And enterprise zones are a powerful economic development tool where a new company that's locating in Forest Grove can apply for a tax abatement, if you will, of 3 or 5 years. And whether they qualify for the 3 or 5 year depends on number of employees and average wages and things like that. And during that time, they don't pay any local taxes. That tax is abated. It's meant to kind of offset the cost of locating here, of providing jobs and things like that. Obviously, that ability or that sort of facet of abating these taxes has an impact on local jurisdictions, schools, things like that. In recognition of that, in 2023, the state legislature passed HB 2009, which made a lot of changes to these enterprise zones. Probably the most impactful locally is what's kind of a clawback, if you will, where if a company is granted a 5-year tax abatement under the enterprise zone, the local school district can actually, or is required to, I guess, enact some sort of tax payback from the company. And this happens directly from the company to the school district. Oddly enough, the school district then sends it to the state, which is still kind of hard to process. But the school district then has to actually memorialize that percentage that can be between 15 and 30% as a resolution of the school district, and the city has to adopt or sort of sign off on concurrence with that. Through their resolution on May 28th, the local school district opted for the 15%, the lowest possible, in recognition that attracting companies and jobs is important here. And so what this does is basically allows the city manager to sign off on concurrence or sort of attestation, if you will, that we agree to this fee and we recognize this fee. If you have any questions, please let me know. That's about the best sort of high-level view I can give you of it. But happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, questions for staff? So I'm going to ask a question. So this is basically to make sure that we're aligned with the school district.
Exactly.
Okay. Got it. And any other questions? Seeing none, is there a motion on the floor?
I move to approve resolution number 2024-26.
I second.
Thank you. Resolution number 2024-26 was moved by Counselor Gustafson and seconded by Counselor Martinez. Discussion from the council.
I just wanted to make comment that this is like a real spider webby type of thing, and you guys explained it really well, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did.
I was struggling before I got up here. I was like, okay, where does this go? But thank you. I appreciate that.
Very good. Okay, so no other discussion, comments? Will the city record, or nope, will the city manager please read this by title only?
Resolution number 2024-26, Enterprise Zone, authorizing the city manager to attest to Forest Grove School District Resolution 2324 R07.
And will the city recorder please call for the vote?
Counselor Gustafson?
Yes.
Counselor Martinez?
Yes.
Counselor Marshall?
Yes.
Counselor Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel?
Yes. Resolution number 2024-26 is approved by the Forest Grove City Council in a vote of 5-0. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And I don't see Miss Camille here, so I feel like Paul might be back in the hot seat. Okay, so we have Mr. Downey back with resolution number 2024-27.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Brenda's enjoying time with her new granddaughter, so I told her I would do this for her tonight. So there's two resolutions in front of you, and they're based on your executive sessions that you held on May 13th and May 28th to review and present the evaluation of the city manager. And of course, no action can be taken during executive session, so now you come out of executive session, and the first resolution is to accept the city manager's annual performance review. And the second resolution is authorizing compensation for the city manager for fiscal year 24-25. As you'll see, right now the resolution on 24-28 has blanks in it. As you discuss and decide what you want to do, we'll fill in those blanks, finalize the resolution, and then the city recorder will get you a clean, nice typed copy to sign. So I will turn it back over to the mayor to discuss if there's anything on the...
So the staff report was for both
For both resolutions.
resolution number
So the-
2024-27 and
So the first resolution is just accepting the performance review. So I'll turn that back over to you.
yeah. So let's do resolution number 2024-27. Are there any questions for staff? Okay, is there a motion on the floor?
I move that we pass resolution 2024-27.
Second.
Thanks. Resolution number 2024-27 was moved by Counselor Martinez and seconded by Counselor Gustafson. Discussion. I want to say some things because I think, I don't know if a lot of people watch our city council meetings, but, our city staff led by, Jesse has done a phenomenal job this year. In the last year, some highlights, right? The time, place, and manner. We worked with the county on providing sheltered services to people that were living on the encampment off on Martin Road. We worked with the B Street encampment. We got Main Street program in economic development. We got 3 federal grants, which I've never, in the process of being on council, I've seen that happen in 3 different areas, right? We have solar panels, TV highway improvement plan, right? We have a COPS grant. We did a cool e-bike rebate program. Our recreation program's building out. That's all because of a great staff. That is literally, we sit up here and people think like, oh, the city council needs to do this and this. But the way it works, and I don't mean to treat you all like 8th grade history students, but I'm going to go back 10 years when I taught 8th grade, that we make the policy, right? We come up here, we make the policy, we have goals, we have objectives, but there is a very mighty staff. There is a very well-trained, working hard staff. And in Forest Grove, our staff has to wear many hats because we're a full-service city and we have a very small staff. And yet our staff consistently, day in and day out, pulls off amazing things for our community. Our community feels like big city amenity, and we do that with a small staff. And that staff has been led by Jesse. And so I wanted to make sure that was on public record, that these are the things that you get from living in Forest Grove. You get a staff that really cares, that works hard, that's innovative, and collaborates really well with the council. So I just wanted to make sure that if you are watching, you know how this all works. Okay, thanks. Any other questions, discussion? Okay, well, does the city manager have to read his own things by title only?
Resolution number 2024-27, accepting city manager's performance review.
Thank you. All those in favor of resolution number 2024-27, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Hearing none. Resolution number 2024-27 is approved by the Forest Grove City Council in a 5-0 vote. Yes, you would like to, yeah, go ahead, Mr. Van der Zanden.
So normally during this part, I step out and turn it over to Paul so that the council can talk freely. So if there's no objections, I'll.
Are there any objections to that? He feels like, he doesn't like, okay. Yeah, you're good. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to move on to resolution number 2024-28, authorizing compensation for city manager for fiscal year 2024-25. Mr. Downey.
HR Director Camilli prepared a city manager market compensation study as of July and back to July 1, 2023, which is when we prepare various compensations. We're always about a year behind. And based on the market median on July 1st, 2023, the city's manager's salary was approximately 4.79% below market of the comparable city managers that we use. And also, another piece of information is non-represented city employees. The city manager is a non-represented employee. We're given a 4% COLA effective this July 1, 2024. So we've got the HR director prepared a couple compensation options to adjust to market and also to include the 4% COLA for the non-rep if the council so wants to give that to the city manager. And so we prepared proposed market rate adjustments of 2%, 3%, and 4%. And so the annual compensation, if you did 2% market rate, would be $191,424. His current salary, let me go back, his monthly salary right now is $15,037. If you did the 2% market rate adjustment with a 4% COLA, the monthly salary would go to $15,952. If you did a 3% market adjustment with a 4% COLA, the salary would go to $16,108. And if you did a 4% market adjustment and a 4% COLA, the set monthly salary would go to $16,264 per month. So that's my information. I'll turn it over to the mayor.
Yeah, so our job is to determine the percent increase that Jesse should receive. My thoughts on it is that right now, looking at comparables, he's below the market median by 4.79. The other thing I would like to point out is that in terms of my memory and how we've done it and how I believe he feels comfortable and staff feels comfortable is it's been pretty consistent. Whatever the non-rep city employees were given as a COLA, the city manager gets. That precedent just creates like a really fair, when you're looking at a working condition of your boss and different things, like you want to make sure everyone, I don't care how old you are, everyone wants it to be fair. Like people want to make sure like this makes sense, this is fair, this is equal. And so I would personally, given the fact that he's already below by 4.79 and that the COLA received by non-rep represented city employees was 4%, I would feel comfortable giving him a market adjust rate of a 4% increase. Any other discussion or comments? You think that's good? Okay. I'm seeing 2 head nods and then, okay. So can I get, I don't think I can move or second, but can I get a motion for a 4% increase from someone and then a second?
I
Motion
move.
to approve a 4% increase.
I second.
Perfect.
The other aspect of the resolution is the car allowance, which we typically increase by the same amount of the COLA. So right now, the car allowance is $3,544 annually. A 4% change would take it to $3,686 a month annually, or $307.17 monthly.
Do we, if there's an agreement that it's 4% for both, do we need to have 2 separate motions or?
No, because it's all in one resolution.
Yeah, I think is that fine?
I think so.
I'm just seeing head nods. So
Could I just get who seconded that
yeah,
motion?
who was that? Yeah. So it was moved by Councilor Marshall for the 4% increase in salary and car allowance. That was moved by Councilor Marshall. Who was the second on that?
I did.
Councilor Martinez. Okay, so I have resolution 2024-28, authorizing compensation for city manager for fiscal year 2024-25 with a 4% increase in both salary and car allowance. It was moved by Councilor Marshall and seconded by Councilor Martinez. Discussion. Yeah, I have a lot to say tonight. I'm really sorry, but looking at comparables and knowing, I mean, I'm just going to be blunt and put it out there. Jesse's a really good city manager. Yeah, so I would hate, and I think we hear this a lot when we talk with city employees, and I know myself in my profession, the school district, but when you're part of Metro and you're on the outskirts of Metro and it can, and other people pay higher. So I really think this is, a good, fair compensation for the work he does. Any other discussion? Will the assistant city manager read it by title only, please?
Resolution 2024-28, resolution authorizing compensation for city manager for fiscal year 24-25.
Thank you. And will our city recorder please call for the vote?
Counselor Gustafson?
Yes.
Counselor Martinez?
Yes.
Counselor Marshall?
Yes.
Counselor Valenzuela?
Yes.
Mayor Wenzel?
Yes, in a vote of 5-0, resolution number 2024-28 is approved by the Forest Grove City Council. Are we good, Paul?
We are good, and we'll get a clean resolution for you to sign. So,
Oh yeah, so I don't sign this one?
no, it's got no dollar amounts in.
Okay.
We'll type it. We'll type them in and have you sign
I'll
it.
be in tomorrow to meet with, I have a meeting in City Hall, so
Okay.
I'll be in tomorrow. Thank you. So now we're going to go, we're going to move on to counselor communication. Council President Rippey is absent, so Counselor Gustafson.
I have nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Marshall.
Parks and Rec, went over, Cornelius is starting construction. The school had sold the cafeteria and the gym to the city. I don't know if I went over this last time. I'm kind of losing track of which one was which.
I don't know if you did. I knew because I'm a school district employee. But go
NAMS
ahead.
is starting to install the turf, so it should be playable by fall. Tom McCall, they updated, they're flattening the football field to work on the drainage of the field. They have 2 new lifeguards at the swimming pool. They hired 2 leads for the rec program and several aides for it. The Rotary cleaned the flag in the area over there, the big area. Hazel Stills is still moving along. Well, I'm just waiting on equipment. And it looks like the next meeting is going to be July 17th, and it looks like they are going to be doing a presentation here, I believe, on the 24th for the council.
Oh.
And then forestry, we have our meeting this Wednesday, so I'll have more information next meeting.
Perfect. Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Martinez.
So let's see. Last Wednesday, I went to the Forest Grove Rural Fire District meeting. Gales Creek Station, they did put new, they replaced some of the siding, the gutters, entry door to the house, and did some painting. I guess it looks great depending on who you talk to. Some people don't like the color. Chief Gearing will be on vacation June 29th to July 16th. And then attended the Sister City meeting. That was last week also. We discussed the fact that the mayor and 1 adult will be coming from New Zen October 29th and 30th and leaving on the 31st. So they'll only be here 2 days, basically, 2 nights.
Just the mayor will be 2 nights.
The
but
mayor-
students will be longer.
Well, the students will be longer, but the mayor and an adult will be here for 2 nights. And then the students and 2 adults come in October 29th and will leave November 1st. The mayor of New Zen was, he took our offer for the, what do you call it? Pay the,
Reciprocity.
yeah, reciprocity. Thank you very much.
Got it. No worries.
For the ticket. So we thought the celebration will probably be October 30th, a reception type celebration, dinner. Those are all being planned. We're trying to figure out where to have it still and how that's going to look. So so that's really all I have right now. We had a lot of different ideas that we came up with for things to do. So in process.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Counselor Ewing is absent. Counselor Valenzuela.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, I have nothing to report. The Policy Advisory Board canceled their meeting last month, but there will be one this coming Thursday. And so I have nothing to report for today.
Thank you, Counselor. City Manager report.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. I do have a few things to report here this evening. The city was successful in all 3 of its federal projects being included in Senator Wyden and Merkley's request. They submit their spending request into the committee. The committee will have a markup. They pass out a bill. The Senate passes, and then the House passes. So there's a lot of steps left, but it's a good first step for the city. The 3 projects that were included in it were TV highway safety improvements, the Forest Grove Loop Trail, and the 21st Avenue. At $3 million, $2.24, and $1.76 million, respectively. I'll keep the council apprised as the congressional appropriations process continues. Economic opportunities analysis. We have Johnson Economics is on contract. They have started their work. They're in the data collection and an analyst portion. Right now, they're putting together a technical advisory committee. So once we get some initial results for the EOA, we will bring that back to the city council. That will eventually be passed by a resolution or accepted by a resolution and then amended to the comprehensive plan. The 26th Avenue reconstruction project is nearing, it's almost done. If you get a chance to go take a look, it looks great. The pavement came out really well. The contractor's been doing a really good job. But it's almost done. And if you go to the library, you'll start to see some activity there today. Some of the American Rescue Plan monies that the council appropriated are going into 3 projects there, a remodel of both the east and the west bathrooms, and then also the teen partition. They're going to phase it so that they start on one end with the restroom, then they go to the partition, and then they do the other end after the previous restroom that was being remodeled reopens. So you'll just see a lot of activity there associated with the library. And then I think that's it. That's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
You're welcome. Okay, my turn. So HLB, Historic Landmarks Board, they're going to be sponsoring an education fair in August. They haven't completely tied down the date, but it's looking like August 3rd. They're going to have a few mini sessions, one on repairs. There's going to be an option to tour downtown, oral history, and then a possible topic about the Indian School and working with Pacific Native Student Union Group. They'll have a special meeting on June 25th. However, I will not be able to make it. And then we had Heather, the CCE, the CCE chair, came as part of their buddy program. So you should all be seeing someone from CCI at your boards and commissions reaching out. And then Region 1 Area Transportation, I met with them on the 3rd of June. And just a couple, well, there's a lot to go over, but it went over, the meeting was, it went 45 minutes over when it was supposed to end. So it's just been a lot. But anyways, so some summer construction updates that the public and council might be interested in is that I-5 in Southwest Portland will be closed June 28th through July 1st for some bridge repair. Overnight closures on Hall and Brookwood. And then, there's a lot of work on safety updates. So there's a lot more pedestrian accidents, and so they're trying to figure out why that's happening. There's some ideas, but overall crashes have decreased. Connect Oregon's doing their funding cycle, so we recommended the funding programs, the grants and so those were rail and trains. So the Mount Hood Railroad expansion was the number 1 priority. And then on June 5th, I attended the first Wednesday in Farmers Market with the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council and then also the police department. But the Mayor's Youth Advisory Council has 10 members that are consistently showing up. We're going to work on recruiting. We have another meeting on June 17th. We're going to look at some service projects. Their interests are service projects like voter registration, and then how to engage teenagers within city events. And so they're using this Move app. So it might be, I'm going to actually try to meet with the city club and the chamber, and then some student groups to see how if there's any interest in partnering with the MEAC on some engagement. And then on June 8th was the Forest Grove High School's graduation. And then also in the afternoon from 11 to 1, the police department and neighborhood volunteers in the Rogers Park area hosted a barbecue. It was a steady stream. We served lots of burgers and lots of hot dogs. It was a steady stream of people there was Zumba going on the basketball court. I stayed the whole time. It was a really good event. And then also on your calendars, if you're interested, next Thursday on June 20th, Chair Harrington, Washington County Commissioner Chair Harrington is doing the state of the county at the Public Service Building in Hillsborough at 6 p.m. on June 20th. Adelante Mujeres is hosting their annual fundraiser on June 21st in Portland. And then our local Theater in the Grove, does a fundraiser performance entertainment on June 22nd. So those are some events coming up. I think that's my update. Okay, and then really quickly, I heard our city attorney say this, so I'm gonna make sure. So following this meeting, we're gonna have an executive session of the URA. So executive sessions are closed to the public. No formal decisions or actions will be taken. Representatives of the news media may attend, but may not disclose any information discussed. News media representatives can request a link to attend via Zoom by emailing the city recorder's office at mwoods@forestgrove/or.gov. So the board will convene to hold an executive session pursuant to ORS 1926602E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions. Okay, so I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you. We're going to move in there.